Hey, camera's rolling. Good morning, guys. Happy blessed Thursday, the 4th of December, and welcome to Poetry Corner, where we're going back to Grey Cliff for the Lighthouse Keeper's Tale, Chapter 11, Whispers in a Village. So this sounds like a Marites edition to see how Lorna and Davy Snow are getting on. So let's read on, guys, and see. The morning sun had barely risen over the cliffs when the first whispers began. It started, as most things do, with Mrs. Ollings, who saw everything, forgot nothing, and could turn a simple observation into a story worth 3 cups of tea. She had been sweeping her step when Lorna and I walked down the narrow path from the lighthouse, our hands close enough to touch, our steps matching without our noticing. Lorna carried a woven basket against her hip, meaning to buy flour and herbs. I walked beside her, unable to hide the quiet glow still settling in my chest. It seemed foolish to pretend nothing had changed. Something in the way our eyes found each other made the truth shine through us. Mrs. Ollings paused mid-sweep, her broom hovering like a stopped pendulum. Her sharp eyes flicked between us, and then her mouth curved into a shape that was far too knowing to be innocent. "Well then," she chirped, "it's a fine morning for a walk together, isn't it?" Lorna flushed delicately, though she smiled with polite composure. "Yes, Mrs. Ollings, a very fine morning." I offered a respectful nod. "Good day to you." But the moment we turned away, the broom resumed its sweep, swift, purposeful, like a drum beat carrying news down to the street. By midday the whispered had grown legs. By afternoon they had sprouted wings. "Did you see them together?" Her smile was different today, softer. "He looked years younger. Do you think after all these years that the lighthouse keeper has let someone in?" Most of it harmless, curious, gentle, but it was enough to send a warm flutter of uncertainty through Lorna when we reached the marketplace, the Palenque. Palenque. She paused near the stalls, adjusting the shawl around her shoulders. Not fear, no, she wasn't afraid, but there was a carefulness in her movements, aware of her eyes settling softly upon her. Children darted around, careless and cheerful. A fisherman nodded at me with a half smile that carried more approval than judgment. Lorna kept her gaze lowered for a moment, then lifted it to me with a breath that quivered slightly. "It seems the world travels quicker than wind," she said softly. I stepped closer, not touching her, but offering the steadiness of my presence. "We knew it would," I said. "People talk. They always will." She searched my face, looking perhaps for a sign of regret or worry or withdrawal. She found none. I let my voice drop low enough for her to hear. "I don't mind the whispers, not if it means I can walk beside you." Her eyes softened, the tension in her shoulders easing, the way the tide releases sand. We continued through the marketplace, and though the curious glances persisted, they grew warmer, kinder, less startled by the sight of us together and more quietly pleased. At the baker's stall, the old man grinned over his counter. "Miss Lorna," he said, nothing toward me. "You brought company this time." Lorna blushed. "Just a friend." The baker's eyebrows lifted. Of course." I pressed my lips together to keep from smiling, but Lorna nudged me gently with her elbow, her cheeks pink. When we stepped back outside into the sunlight, she exhaled slowly, a full breath of unspoken things. "Does this trouble you?" she asked. "No," I answered. Does it trouble you, Lorna?" She looked towards the harbour, the gulls circling above the boats. Her shawl fluttered around in her as a breeze picked it up, carrying the salt scent of the sea. It used to, she admitted, but now, she looked at me with her voice warm. Now it feels different, as if I encouraged gently. A shy smile tugged at her lips, as if it doesn't nothing to hide anymore. The simplicity of it struck something deep in me. Without thinking, without hesitation, I offered her my hand, not boldly, not possessively, just a gentle, open gesture. She looked at it for a breath and slipped her hand into mine with a tenderness that felt like another quiet promise made. The world around us dimmed to a soft The whispers might continue, they might grow, they might change shape with each retelling, but her hand in mine silenced every doubt. As we walked back towards the lighthouse steps, slow, unhurried, I felt the truth settle deep and steady. Let the village speak. Let them watch. Let them wonder. For the first time in my life, I was not a solitary keeper of the sea. I was a man walking beside a woman he loved, and she walked beside me willingly. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll be going out now, hand in hand, showing her love in the palenque, and we don't care what the Maritess is saying. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Join me tomorrow then for chapter 12, and this one is A Visit from Lorna's Past, chapter 12. So join me for that, guys. A Visit from Lorna's Past tomorrow, so let's see what that's all about. But thank you guys for joining me in Poetry Corner. Listen to the stories from Grey Cliff, A Lighthouse Keeper's Tale, Davy Snow and Lorna. I think we're warming to the characters now. We're getting to know them, and we wish them every luck. But let's see what chapter 12 entails tomorrow morning. A Visit from Lorna's Past. Until then, guys, thank you for joining me. Have a lovely Thursday. Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye bye now.